Hello and welcome to this video for Monday the 13th of March 2017. I'm Dakian and it's time to show you my painting progress. And as far as finished minis goes, well, you're looking at it. This is the Wasteland Warrior, the sort of Mad Max ripoff character, and it's the only thing I've finished completely this week. One single model. Now, it's not that I've been lazy or too busy doing other stuff, it's just that I've been working out a lot of projects in parallel, and you're going to see some progress on all of them in a moment. But, like I said, this is the only one finished, and turned out kind of okay. It's a little dark, but you know, it's all black leather. I tried to put some different colors in there, like the shirt and the scarf and his equipment on the belt here, the pouches and the bedroll or whatever. But they have to be kind of muted if they're gonna fit in with the setting and the style. Oops. For the base, I tried to make like a hint of, it's an old ruined roadway, like you can see the hint of the stripe down the center of the road there, but it's kind of wrecked. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's move on to the work in progress. So these guys are not done yet. They're a bit further along. Some more portions have been finished on them, but they're missing something. Well, some parts of them are still white, you know. I'm thinking, what do I need to make them pop? I need some bright colors. I've painted some metal, some fur, typical browns, some leather also in brown, some metallics, some skin that is green. I need something bright and contrasting. I probably need some splashes of red on these dudes. Most of all is what they require. And, you know, maybe some more just clashing colors, adding more bright primary colors where I can. Because, yeah, otherwise they're just going to melt into the background. But they should be done by next week in any case. So I thought we'd take a look at prep done since last week. Here we have the Ankeg, who is assembled and primed and got some brown paint on the base. Now, after I had assembled this, all these legs, all 6 legs and these 2 antennae were glued on. I took a look at the bones version. I painted this miniature in bones, and I see they put the antennas on the other way, which kind of makes sense for a creature burrowing underground. They would have their feelers out of the way, so to speak. So maybe this was a mistake, but honestly, I just kind of think that they look cooler pointing out in front. And I mean, if they're used to sort of sense something, they should be in front. Maybe they're swept back while it's digging, and then as it pops out, it shifts them forward. I'm gonna say that's what's happening. The other relatively small creature was this roper, or stone lurker as it's called. What's been done here is the body is in 2 halves, which I've gap filled with some plastic putty. I've green stuffed some very, very amateurish kind of cracked rock texture on the base, because the Ankegs, they show up in, for example, farmland. They dig up out of a field. The iconic image is it's coming out of a field and menacing a farmer. So this would just be normal dirt. These creatures live underground in the Underdark, and so they would not have a dirt base. They would be rock. Why haven't I fully assembled it? What's left? Well, it's just the tentacles. But here's the thing. I've painted this one in bones as well. Here's that one. The difference being that it's kind of floppy, it's plastic. And you'll see it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tentacles. In the blister for the metal one, it only came with 3. So what did I do? Well, I emailed Reaper and told them about this mistake, and they said, oh, we'll fix that. We're popping a sprue of tentacles in an envelope and sending it to you right away. So that's very good customer service. And I appreciate that. It hasn't arrived yet because it's coming all the way from the US, but I expect it probably will turn up sometime during the coming week. So if that happens, then I will assemble and fully prep this by next week. Related issue, I think I'm considering, because I have these bones versions, maybe I should put these on bases, real bases, these 40mm plastic bases, just for consistency and a little bit of stability, you know, to make them look the same. I probably will if I can fit it into my busy schedule. And finally, I've prepped this huge thing here, the Jabberwock. Now, this is a massive lump of metal. This is a kit that there is a bones version of this, but considering like this long thin neck and these thin arms, in that PVC plastic and this strange pose, I don't think it would hold up very well. This is a kit that I would have preferred to see in resin, actually. That would have probably worked the best, because one issue I had, hopefully you can't really see it now that it's primed, but assembling was difficult because the joints they had deep recesses in the body, and they had little rather big nubs or ball joints or whatever in the arms and the legs that I needed to attach. So it seemed like they thought about this quite a good deal. Unfortunately, the fit was not very snug. I mean, there was not a lot of contact between if it just fit the metal into metal, there was not a lot of contact between the two areas, which of course makes it difficult to glue, because when you want to super glue something, you want all of the surfaces to fit flush against each other. So to some extent I did pin one of the wings into the neck area, but otherwise I did not do much pinning. What I did was a sort of combination super glue, green stuff, big mess kind of approach to sort of fudge it all together, and it seems to be holding up so far. I just don't want to put too much stress on it. And as you can see here, I've primed this a dark gray as well and started to paint the base. There's also, I've splashed a little bit of paint of the same sort of greenish brown paint on the undersides here. It's an experiment kind of. I'm gonna paint it a different color eventually, highlight it differently in the ground, but I thought it might be interesting to have a little bit of the base color sort of reflected in the miniature, make it mix with the surroundings a little bit more. We'll see if that even makes any sense, or, you know, is noticeable in any way later. Anyway, that is what's currently being worked on. And no, I've not skipped ahead to an unboxing of a new rival. This is something that I've shown you previously. This is a package I received from Blind Beggar Games a while back as for a Kickstarter that I backed. And this is something I'm intending to start painting. Let me demonstrate. So these are some townsfolk with a weird look to them, sort of the Innsmouth look. They're hybrid villagers or townsfolk, I think they're called. They're intended for Cthulhu-esque sort of games, and because I'm planning to start up my next campaign in Cthulhu, Achtung Cthulhu actually. I want to start painting some minis that are relevant to that time period. And this particular box, I included a lot of add-ons to the Kickstarter campaign. The campaign was for these particular townsfolk, but I also added on a lot of their older miniatures, specifically human ones, normal human people. I think these are the female militia, I think, or no, they're the ladies of quality, perhaps. They're a bunch of ladies anyway with guns, for example. And what's in this one? This is more hybrid townsfolk. Right, so there's a huge number of minis here, and I can't paint all of them at once. So I'm not exactly sure yet which ones I'm going to paint first, but I'm going to go through them and pick out maybe 10, maybe a dozen to start up, and I will prep them for next week. And then once they're prepped, I can give you a more clear view of them. For example, I might need to get something for this guy to sit on, like a chair or something. I think I have some chairs from another Kickstarter. I'm gonna have to rummage through my boxes and see. I think I backed a Kickstarter for dungeon furniture at some point. See if I can steal a chair from that. Anyway, that is the plan for next week. Now for this week's actual unboxing of new releases. I pull back a bit, you can see it's a box containing some stuff. Minis, a book. As you can see, this was a Kickstarter from Ganesha Games for Axe and Brimstone. What is Axe and Brimstone? Well, you can read the title here. It's a campaign source book for Advanced Song and of Blades and Heroes, which is the main Ganesha Games miniatures game. And I got some miniatures to go with it. The Axe and Brimstone expansion is for dwarves, and so I picked up a lot of their dwarf miniatures, some bases, some more dwarves or something. And I think these are actually, I got as an add-on some halflings. So there's quite a lot of minis here, and this was a bonus mini, a stretch goal, I think, a sort of mushroom guy. And what's this thing lying here? Well, let me cut. So this is actually a terrain mat. Now it's draped over a lot of books on my sofa table here, and it's a rather thick one. It has this sort of grippy undersurface, and it looks like grass. It has a little bit of a sparkle to it. Reflects light a little bit. It has some creases here where it's been folded hard, but that might come out with time. I'm not going to fold it again. I'm going to roll it up and store it that way. So yeah, and here we have the minis again that go with it. I'm happy with this. The Ganesha Games always delivers. They always have good stuff. Producing minis is a relatively new thing for them, but they've proven to be competent at that as well. So these are some more kind of barbaric dwarves, I think. I think now you can see them a bit better. I think they're called pelters. But yeah, not as I've mentioned. I'm currently transitioning away from painting fantasy miniatures to painting 20th century dudes. So these will have to go into storage for a time being. But you know, eventually everything circles around and I get back to fantasy. So it'll be useful at some point. So this was the episode for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you click like and comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I will see you in a week. Until then, I'm Dakian, and I'm signing off.